I was just thinking about how long I've been in this business and how lucky I am, just like you folks are, to be in this realm of the business world. And I was talking to my original boss, Alexander Graham Bell, and I said, I think you're onto something here with this phone business. And lo and behold, the first phone bill that I ever analyzed when I was selling long distance in New York City, the call from New York to Los Angeles was 74 cents. The second minute really dropped a lot to 52. So it was very interesting. I used to analyze phone bills for a living, and I lived in a 400 square foot apartment. Well done. And I lived in a 400 square foot apartment, and phone bills were delivered on pieces of paper that were 3 inches by 6 inches each. And if you had a $2,000 or $3,000 phone bill, it was about as tall as I was. So in my 300 square feet of my apartment was taken up by phone bills. I remember I was analyzing once on a subway, and I was going through the pages trying to figure out how much this customer was going to save. All right? Which, by the way, people aren't saving money anymore. I hope you understand that. Nobody ever saved any money. We just sell them more stuff, and they can do it in a different way. It's the same old phone call. All right? Anyways, that's our little secret. So I was riding the subway, and I had about 700 pages of phone bill. The subway hit a bump, went all over the place, and I didn't pick it up. I got off the subway, and I went up to the customer. He says, "How much am I going to save?" I said, "About 32%. I got your bill." He said, "That's good enough for me. Where do I sign?" I made the whole thing up. All right? So anyways, long story short, you're in a good business now. You're all lucky to be in it just like I was. Actually, I was reading a magazine before I came here today just to sort of beef up on what's going on in the telecom world. And I was reading Channel Vision magazine, and I came across an article that said, "It's the end of POTS." I'm going, "Oh no." And then I found out it was analog service, so I went, shh.
It was an interview.
And by the way, I have been in telecommunications a long time. Actually, I started when this place was called One Fork. All right, and the last little quip I'm going to mention is I got to give an accolade to Dan, who has changed the dynamics of the lunch and learn. All right, which I think was very astute, and I'll tell you why. You know, lunch and learns have been around for hundreds of years, right? We've been to millions of them, all of us. But now going from steak and sales brings a new dynamic to it, right? So what Dan has done quietly is put you into a realm where you really enjoy eating steak, all right? Here's the problem. What do you have to do to order steak at every restaurant? You got to sell a lot, all right? So Dan, well done, but not my steak. All right. Anyways, let's get going here. My name is Stu Kalinsky. I'm the VP of Sales for a company called ipfone, and we've been happily partnering with TCG for now on 5 years. We've done about probably close to 1,000 or more installations, successful installations of PBXs all over the United States and offshore for the agent group of TCG, and we're very happy about that. Dan mentioned a couple of the differentiators that I'll go over with you today about our company. So of late, in the last year or so, we've really busted a move, all right? And I'm happy to say we're the only VoIP provider in the United States. And then my alarm went off. So let's talk about ipfone, all right? So the 3 differentiators that I want to sort of give you the takeaways up front and then sort of justify the whole thing as I go through. As Dan mentioned, we do on-site training and installation for every single account, whether it's 3 phones or 3,000. We send a person to the company to do the installation and the training, all right? So even if it's 3 people, we'll take almost anybody, even if they can fog a mirror. They can be a customer, and they get on-site installation anywhere in the United States. Locally, for the folks in this room particularly, we have a big presence here because we're headquartered in North Miami. So we have 7 vehicles on the road with technicians and project managers and all the people down here. For those of you who've done business with us in the past, you probably know how we operate. But now we operate like this all over the United States through agnostic third-party professionals who do the same kind of work. So nobody gets a box of phones delivered. And that's the end of my presentation. But all right. Well, yeah, thanks. All right, so let's talk about ipfone. So we're started in 1997. We are, in fact, a CLEC, a competitive local exchange carrier, which in plain English means we're a phone company. So we do rate centers all over the United States. We do installations everywhere. We do DIDs everywhere. And we are, in fact, a phone company. We have our own infrastructure at the NAP, at the Equinox, and also in Dallas. We'll get into some of that later. But we have all of our own services, all of our own redundancy, all of our own backup and everything. So we're a wholly owned service provider. We have two platforms, which we'll get into just a little bit. So you can see we try to do, as a service provider, what we do, we don't make anything. We provide services that other people either manufacture or implement. So we represent Cisco, which bought Broadsoft last year, as you all know. We sell Polycom, Yealink. We're in the Equinix and the Cogent data centers in Dallas for total redundancy. And we are financially sound, privately held. It's about a $15 million company and growing on an ongoing basis. All right, so we do have a global operation. This is a sort of a snapshot of who we are and what we've got in place. About 4,000 separate logoed customers, about 45,000 seats in place, and over 25 successful offshore deployments, particularly being headquartered down here and doing a lot of business in the Florida area. Companies have offices worldwide and globally. We've been lucky enough to do some hotels offshore in the Dominican Republic and what have you. So, the Club Meds and these kinds of things, and you can just imagine how the installation department, how many of them wanted to go to Club Med for 2 weeks for the install. All right, our core infrastructure is as follows. These are our data center locations for redundancy and meet points. We do have a complete geo-redundant infrastructure in Dallas at the Cogent Center, along with the one here in South Florida. We bought a company in 1916. All right, in 2016, and called IntelliCloud, which gave us a second platform. So now we have a Asterisk platform that we have a product that is particularly aligned to compete with the entry-level hosted PBX environment that doesn't need any complexities, just plain vanilla phones and voice and data. All right, so we bought a company about 2 months ago in Philadelphia, so now we have a full branch office in Philly to service the Northeast. The company was called PSI, and they were an interconnect company that is very well versed in VoIP, and also will have installations in our trucks and our people there, and we're just sort of launching that now. All right, so the strategic advantage is we say we're born in the cloud, all right? I'm not sure everybody says they're born in the cloud. I was born in Cleveland, all right? All right? Maybe it was a cloudy day, I don't know. But anyways, everybody says born in the cloud. In my estimation, we really weren't born in the cloud because we were a CLEC and we did have local services and UniP, and we came through that whole regiment of telecommunications over the past 22, 23 years. One of the things we do is, again, outside of offering the best of breed products and services, we do have a complete installation process that is well oiled, works well, has incumbent and professional people in it, including project managers, trainers, technicians, sales engineers, and the like, who work on the behalf of our customer. So once the customer signs with us, that's really the beginning. As a matter of fact, when we're actually selling to the customer, we talk about what happens after they sign more than what they do before they sign, because that's where the rubber hits the road, all right? So in any event, so the process for implementation is every order goes to a project manager who is completely chartered with the deployment, regardless of where it is, regardless of what it is, and manages the entire process from a time management, paperwork and everything else. So once the sale is made via yourself through our channel managers like Eric Hurricane Levitt, and Danny, you wait in the car while I get in the order Goodman, all right? That we take over and do everything. You're kept in the loop, but you really don't have to do that much unless you really want to. All right? So we do have our trucks and have anybody seen all of our trucks on the road? You've seen them? Yeah. I mean, they're all over the place. I was going to have one out here today, but it's a long drive and there was 17 accidents on the way from Miami to here today. All right? As you probably well know. All right? Our pricing for some of you who have quoted with us, we are as competitive as the next person. We don't want to lose a deal for a couple of dollars, but yet we do want to let people know that they're getting a lot when they do business with us. It's not just how much is the circuit, how much is the user, it's what do you get behind it that's included with all this. And the buyers have been sort of nurtured now to looking at quotes and looking at numbers. And I would profess to you that if you're going to be in this business and plan on retiring at a reasonable age, that you're going to have to learn how to get more wallet share of the telecommunications products and services that are available to you instead of just users, phones, and DIAs. all right? Because the world, the people in the world now work differently, we consume differently, as some of the people talked about before. They have different needs, and people aren't so concerned about saving money anymore. As a matter of fact, the spend on technology is growing by multiples, because they understand how paramount it is to compete within their own vertical or industry, and what technology and how important it is to their business. They buy backup on backup on backup on backup. Whoever heard of being in 15 data centers in 1994? All right? I mean, you looked under your desk, oh, it must be working, the light's on. All right? So everything has changed, ladies and gentlemen, until you sort of spread your wings a little bit and do deeper dives with your prospects. Not only will you make more money, you'll have longer term customers, they'll be a lot happier, right? And they won't tend to leave. And you'll make, and of course, you know, the wallet share that you're getting is going to be unbelievable, all right? It's hard for us to do it unless you do it, because we take orders from you folks, from the agents. All right, so our partner support is as follows. We do a 24-hour turnaround on any quote that you want. If it's urgent, we can do it a lot faster. You know, there's revisions and all the things that come about. But the better the information that you folks give us that we can use, the faster it is we'll get you the proposal. And by the way, our quotes, if any of you have seen them, are 6 or 7 pages long. All right? And the reason they're 6 or 7 pages long is that it's not just about how much it is per month. It tells you what you're getting for the money. The problem is that if we email, I hate to get a little salesy with you here, but I'm gonna. All right? Whether you like it or not. All right? If you email a quote to a buyer, where do they look? Bottom line, how much is it per month? Do they look, what am I getting? Doesn't matter. How much is it per month? And by the way, it's not how much we're charging them per month, because everybody is paying for communication services or storage. No matter what they're doing, they're paying something now to get the job done. So the difference is not how much you're going to charge them for what you're promoting or selling, it's the delta between the two. And in many cases, it might be less. In many cases, it might be more. But not as much as they look at by just looking at the bottom line. I didn't mean to get off on this tangent, but you deserve it. All right, did I pass up my 6-month guarantee?
Not yet, bud.
All right, I didn't think so. I didn't want to pass that up. All right, so we have competitive bonus programs. Most of you have seen our spiffs and compensation, right? We've been with the company a long time, but it's not all about, as you all know, how much you're getting paid for this and how much, it's really what you get for the money and how much the customer likes it. The average customer will keep their communication system after a transition, because they've done it before from analog to digital. Now they're transforming into the cloud, an average of 10 years before they even look at a change, as long as it's working well. So if you do it right up front, and I'm of the opinion that if they like you after the first 10 minutes, they'll like you for the next 10 years. Hold my calls, please. All right? All right. So we do have dedicated partner resources for you. We have the people who do quoting and do the proposals and get them back to you. We have channel managers. We have 8 channel managers that are at the disposal of TCG, up and down the East Coast. Our sales engineers, we have a sales engineer. His name is Abraham. Okay, and Abraham has probably closed more deals than anybody in our company, because when he gets on with the customer and demonstrates the analytics or the portal or something that I have no information about, then he'll close the sale. I just sit there and I'll just wait in the car, as I say. All right? So we have these people available. Eric, how many webinars does Abraham do a week?
For me?
Yeah, for everybody.
A dozen?
Yeah, I mean, he does webinars all week long. We schedule them. All right? And he's very helpful to justifying some of the things that I'm going to show you in just a moment. All right? So this is why ipfone is the choice, and it's your only choice. Which doesn't even make it a choice. It's a mandate. All right. This is cool. All right? A 6-month satisfaction guarantee to every new customer. Unheard of, am I right?
Correct.
I wrote it. You know why I wrote it? Because people are fearful of making wholesale changes in their business. So and this is included in our proposal when we send them out. All right? I don't know if they read them, but it's there. And you know what? It eases the pain of change. And it puts ipfone on the block, to keep the customer happy. Because what it says was, if you paid your bills but we can't make you happy, we'll take our stuff and go home. Sorry. We've used it just a couple of times in 5 years, I'm happy to say. And after I keyed that guy's car, he'll never forget it. All right? So you see this. Pretty cool, right? You don't see this too often. All right? We have, I told you we have customers, a lot of name brands, but we don't care. All right? But there are some interesting verticals which are really jumping these days. Here's the award that everybody gets. All right. You buy an ad. Unified Communications of the Year, right? Vivial, too. Yeah. All right. So this is our product suite. So we really have what I consider to be a one-stop shop, a single vendor concept, one throat to choke, one back to pat. We do it all. All right? There are a couple of extraneous services like data centers that we don't do and things of this nature. But for the most part, anything that deals in the telecom environment for a business or enterprise is available for our customers, and some extraneous ones too. All right? So we do high-speed internet. We resell some of the people that are in this room, and but we do bundle it with our PBXs. It's competitive, and that's the business we're in as well. All right? And by the way, I think there's enough for everybody, don't you? I mean, how good is that? I mean, we're only scratching the tip of the iceberg on what the customers are needing and buying. There's an insatiable appetite for our services. This is going to be great. Everybody's here going to make a lot of money, all right? But start saving some. I waited too long, which is why I'm up here today. All right? All right. So here's the product suite. Contact center. We have two flavors of contact center. The regular call center environment, or the omni-channel, which was brought to, through the BroadSoft Cisco combination. Call recording, workforce optimization, analytics, fax solution, and CRM interface. Now, all of this stuff costs money, right? If there's a cost per user or per device or per service for all of this stuff. 90% of what we get are plain vanilla quotes. I need this many seats, this much bandwidth, and that's it. So which means that you need to do, in my opinion, for everybody concerned and for your customer, a deeper dive as to what they really require. Does everybody appreciate that? Yes. They need these products and services, and you have them available to you. Whether it's, by the way, from us or from other people, they are available. So that's where the wallet share comes in. That's where an extra $300 or $400 or $500 per month per customer comes into play. All right? Let's go on. So UCast, everybody knows the word UCast, Unified Communications as a Service. These are all the things that go with that now. Just, UCast, sometimes I look at it maybe even as a Trojan horse. There's a lot included in it. If you have a three-man company, a three-person company, and, you're delivering, sheets to somebody, I'm not sure that you need presence and all that stuff, all right? So you do your customers right, because what happens is if they get the bill and they say they're not using it, then they have a bad taste in their mouth, all right? Anyways, but some of this is coming about, particularly in mobility. The new workforce of the United States and around the world now does an office. That we have customers now, probably 15 or 20%, who don't want handsets. So if I called you, if you're at your desk and you wanted to call me, what phone would you use?
The soft phone.
You'd use your cell. It's amazing. Somebody's sitting there with a $500 color phone in front of them, right? Renting it for $12 a month. He says, excuse me, I got to make a call. He reaches for his cell phone. They never used it. It's a dust collector with a colorful logo on the screen.
Or they have a twin.
Or they have it, yeah, right. All right? But there are companies now who don't. I was with a customer up in Jacksonville. He wanted to know how many phones his company had. He didn't know. He went around to the first young person that was an ad agency. They said, where's your phone? She goes, I don't even know where it is. So this is the way the world is now, all right? So we're moving to this kind of thing, all right? Here's our entry-level product. We came up with this product based on the other platform that came with the company that we bought, all right? And what happened was we were going to use it sort of extraneously for small accounts, plain vanilla. It now becomes about 50% of our customers, all right? The nice part about it is that when you present this solution here, to an end user, which includes the phone, all the services that they need, right? For the ever popular low price today of $19.95. It's easy to deliver, it's easy to present, and it's easy for what? to understand by the buyer.
Sure.
All right? When you start talking about different seats and feature sets and all this kind of stuff, the eyes roll back into his head because he makes lumber. He doesn't even know what you're talking about half the time. I think you need a premium seat and a standard seat. What? Right. That's all you want. Make calls, take calls, transfer calls. But this is, an this is like Club Med of phone systems. All right? It's predictable. So we have this product, and we have these a trifold brochure. It works great. All right? We also sell SD-WAN with the Meraki device like the other 2 or 3 SD-WAN providers in the United States. All right? I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that because you know what it is, but we have it in our bundle. All right? SIP trunking. So occasionally you'll find somebody who wants to keep their 30-year-old Nortel. All right? We can give them SIP trunks for $8. Unlimited SIP, unlimited LD in it for $12, which again is a Trojan horse because nobody uses their phones anymore. Right? Just like the hotels. Okay, we have a new customer portal that I encourage you, if you haven't seen it yet, if you know our old one, this is a big improvement. It's got more graphs and more color, and it's easier to use for our end users. All right, analytics, big data. So, $3 a user. All right, I can track you from soup to nuts. All right, I can see who you called, who called you, how long you were on the phone, where did that call get, how many people talked to that person before it got to your desk. Right? How many people hung up today? We have a customer up in outside of Orlando. It's a trucking company with 200 handsets. So all of it, they had a contact call center, but what was happening was people were hanging up because the hold times were too long. So we gave them the analytics product, right? This is a story. So I told them that I could tell them at the end of the day how many people hung up the phone without getting handled today. And now they're renting these double semi trucks that run $2,000 a day to rent. What if they called those 8 people back at the end of the day and said, I'm sorry we missed your call, how can we help? Right? If they get one sale back, it covers their analytics cost for the year. Plus they figured out who the knuckleheads were who weren't answering the phone. And they saved their salaries. All right? Anyways, analytics is a hot product. You've heard of big data. Everybody's analyzing everything all over the page. There are graphs and reports for almost every product in the world. This is for voice. This only works, by the way, on the BroadSoft platform at this point. All right? But the reports are unbelievable. These are some of the webinars that we do. All right, contact center I went through with you. You can have a simple contact center with basic queuing all the way to omni-channel contact centers like you get when you call the airport and they call you back 17 hours later, all right? Because you were 375,000th in line. All right, the handsets that we have we're agnostic to handsets. We sell them, we rent them, you can have your own. And as a matter of fact, in the world today, because VoIP and hosted PBX has been out for 15, 20 years now, companies who have the handsets already, who either own them or whatever the case may be, they are looking maybe to change the provider. But you don't have to change the handset, as you well know, because it gets provisioned off of the MAC address on the back. Everybody knows that, right? Yeah. Otherwise, what am I doing up here? Kidding. All right. So partner support, and this is all about you. 24-hour turnaround, competitive bonus, lunch and learns and demos, quick access to IP phone management. Let me just say this about that. Because we're sort of a concise company, there's only 2 or 3 layers of management in the whole company. On the escalation sheet that we give to our customers when they take our service, the CEO's cell phone number is on it. Very few companies will provide that. Is that a fair statement? All right? The only number that's not on there is mine, by design. All right? So, at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, I certainly thank you for your time. I want to end with this statement to you, that living well is the best revenge. Thank you very much for your time today.